On the night of the high school graduation party, taking advantage of the effect of alcohol, I confessed my love to Daphne, the school beauty who was dead drunk. I also secretly kissed her. I thought she had blacked out and lost her memory. After more than a year of separation, we played the truth-telling game at the drinking table. Someone asked her when she lost her first kiss. She gave me a resentful look and said, "On the night of the high school graduation party." I was stunned. She knew everything. On the night of the high school graduation party, I was late because of something. When I arrived, I happened to see the school hunk confessing his love to Daphne. The school hunk held a bouquet of flowers and was confident yet humble. "Daphne, I'm not someone who is good at taking the initiative, but I don't want to leave any regrets. I like you. Will you be my girlfriend?" The classmates also started to scream and make a ruckus. "Promise him, promise him. The school beauty and the school hunk, together forever." My heart was tight, and I also shouted insincerely, "Promise him, promise him." Daphne suddenly looked in my direction with a dim expression. In the end, she rejected the school hunk. The classmates all sighed in disappointment. The school hunk paused for a moment and forced a smile. "It doesn't matter. Then let's just be friends." Then he casually greeted the classmates, "Don't make a big deal out of it. Just eat and drink as you like." It seemed as if it wasn't him who had just been disappointed. I couldn't help but sigh in my heart and admire his courage and his free and easy manner. I found a corner and sat down. "She doesn't even like the school hunk. Then who can catch her eye?" A classmate beside me whispered. "Yeah, she doesn't even like someone like the school hunk." I felt a little more self-deprecation in my heart. Soon, everyone returned to normal from this failed confession. Many people started to toast Daphne. Daphne is a top-notch academic and the school beauty, and she has always been very popular. Especially after being recommended to University A, she has become the object of everyone's admiration. She is also the secret crush of many boys, including me. I hid in the corner and looked at her shining brightly. My hand holding the wine glass tightened, and I still didn't dare to step forward. I didn't dare to show my admiration for her, and I drank the wine sullenly. After a while, Daphne actually sat next to me. Surprise and joy quietly crept into my heart. She closed her eyes and leaned against the sofa, looking very tired. I looked at her with pity and didn't dare to disturb her too much. Daphne has her own charm, and a group of people sat over next to her as well. The dim corner suddenly became lively. Someone started to notice me. "James, you're sure to get into University B, right?" Hearing this, Daphne also turned her head to look over, seemingly eager to know the answer. Meeting her gaze, my heart skipped a beat. "I'm not sure yet." "Don't be modest. If you can't get into University A, you're definitely going to University B," that person said with certainty. "Thank you first. I can only confirm it after the results come out." I smiled politely. After I finished speaking and turned my head, Daphne was still looking at me. I tried my best to suppress the irregular throbbing in my chest and turned my face away awkwardly. After a while, she chuckled. "Didn't you do well in the exam?" I wasn't sure if she was talking to me. I turned my head to look at her and found that she was still looking at me. I was stunned for a moment, and then I pointed at myself. "Are you talking to me?" She smiled. "Is there anyone else here?" I looked around and realized that the others had already gathered around the table to play games, and it was just me and her sitting in the corner. I was a bit embarrassed. "I did so-so in the exam." She furrowed her brows. "Did you not do well in math?" I was very surprised that she actually noticed that I wasn't good at math. I nodded. "Yeah." She seemed to be thinking about something and then asked, "How much do you estimate your total score will be?" I said in an uncertain tone, "Should be able to squeeze into University B." She seemed to let out a sigh of relief, and the tense expression on her face relaxed. "Okay." After a while, she asked again, "Do you have any plans for the summer vacation?" I was a bit confused. She was talking a lot today. We didn't have much communication usually, and I always thought that she only knew me by sight. "I don't know yet." I smiled again. "Okay. I heard William say that you had something to do earlier, and I thought you weren't coming?" The light shone on her face, and she smiled faintly in the light. Seeing the curve of her lips, my heart trembled. "And no. I was just a bit late because of something." I stuttered a bit out of nervousness. After we finished speaking, we looked at each other tacitly and then both turned our eyes away awkwardly. We were silent for a while. She spoke. "James." Before she could finish her words, the class monitor came over. "Daphne, come here. That guy just has to argue with me." You tell him yourself whether I solved that problem correctly or not." The class monitor directly pulled her away. She looked back at me and went to the table in the front with the class monitor. I sat there and sorted out what had just happened. This seemed to be the most we had ever talked in the 3 years of high school. And she took the initiative. I started to get carried away. Could it be that she liked me a little bit? Then I shook my head and came to my senses immediately. I couldn't help but laugh at myself. She just chatted with me briefly. I was being too self-absorbed. William seemed to have drunk a lot. He staggered over and pulled me to Mia's side. There were only the two of them left at the whole table, and he was having a drinking contest with Mia. I joined them spontaneously, and the three of us played and drank. Until my consciousness started to gradually blur. My mom called. It was too noisy around, so I staggered up and went to the next private room to answer my mom's call. She just told me to drink less and go home early. After hanging up the phone with my mom, I stretched. But my hand accidentally touched someone's face. I was really startled. By the light of my phone, I could see that it was Daphne's peerlessly beautiful face. She had her eyes closed, with long eyelashes casting a faint shadow under the dim light of my phone. Her fair face, delicate features, and those rosy lips. My heart started to pound wildly again, and I looked at her for a while. My heart was beating faster and faster, and I started to confess my love randomly. "Daphne, I like you. I've liked you for a long, long time. Daphne, will you be my girlfriend? If you don't say anything, I'll take it as your acquiescence. Since you're my girlfriend, it's not too much for me to kiss you, right?" So I kissed her lips, just a light peck. Daphne moved. It seemed that she woke up, and I immediately jumped back in fright. She was mumbling something, and at the same time, an alarm sounded outside. I didn't hear a single word she said clearly. I ran out in a hurry and asked Mia to help Daphne out of the next private room through William. Everyone was in a complete mess. The waiter came over and explained that someone had accidentally pressed the alarm bell, and then apologized and soothed everyone. Only then did everyone gradually calm down. After this commotion, everyone lost the interest to keep playing and went home separately. Mia helped William get Daphne into the car, and William and I also went home separately. The next day, after sobering up, I remembered my disgraceful behavior while drunk and banged my head in chagrin that I opened WeChat and stared at Daphne's chat window for a long time, wondering whether I should apologize to her. In the end, I decided not to. If she still remembered, I would go and atone for my sin. If she forgot, then I would pretend it never happened. I knew it was wrong, but when I'm sober, I don't have the courage to do anything. I was nervous all morning and didn't wait for Daphne's questioning. She probably blacked out and had no memory of it. I let out a sigh of relief and forced myself to calm down. After a while, my cousin called. "Brother, come to XX bar and pretend to be my boyfriend. I'll pay you 500 yuan if it's done." I didn't even think about it. "Deal. You need to dress cool. That's an extra charge." My cousin gritted her teeth. "I'll add 300 yuan. Come quickly." "Got it." I specifically styled my hair and rushed to the address my cousin specified. I cooperated with her to show off our fake affection and drove away her suitor. I went home happily with 800 yuan in my hand. I was still thinking about the fact that I secretly kissed Daphne. I spent a few uneasy days, fearing that Daphne would come to me one day. But half a month passed, and Daphne never came to me. She really had no memory of this matter. I didn't dare to contact her rashly, and this matter was just left unresolved. After that, I lived at my aunt's house for the whole summer vacation. Sometimes I pretended to be my cousin's boyfriend, and sometimes I pretended to be my cousin's boyfriend. I was very busy and made a lot of extra money. On the day the admission notice came, I learned that William and I had both been admitted to University B. We were very excited and made an appointment to go out and celebrate our unbreakable friendship. As soon as we arrived at the mall, we met Mia. The two of us became three, and we went to have hot pot together. Mia was even more excited than the two of us. "I can hang out with you two again in the future. Fortunately, I met you too. How could you not invite me to this celebration?" She gets along very well with the two of us. Like Daphne, she is a top student and also Daphne's best friend. She was also admitted to University A, which is just across a river from University B. No wonder she's excited, and I'm happy for her too. "Sorry, bro. I almost forgot about you." I apologized to her with a playful smile. "James, I'm a lady. Who wants to be your bro?" She glared at me angrily. Got it, got it. I was wrong, sis. I clasped my hands together. William glanced at her and seemed to remember something. Oh, right. Why are you shopping alone? Where's Daphne? Mia gave a bitter smile. Her? She went to City A. Isn't it still early before the start of school? Why did she go so early? Mia became mysterious. I'll only tell you two this. You two are not allowed to spread it around. The two of us nodded repeatedly and perked up our ears, ready to hear the gossip. Mia cleared her throat. Daphne is heartbroken and went there early to heal her wounds. Heartbroken? She was in a relationship? William and I both exclaimed in surprise at the same time. Yeah. That guy cheated on her. Mia shook her head, looking helpless. I was both shocked and regretful. The person I love but can't have was actually treated so badly. I felt a little sad inside. Alas, indeed, life can't be too perfect. William also sighed. She said she had liked that guy for a long time and was really sad. Mia added. Is he one of our classmates? William asked curiously. I perked up my ears again. I was also very curious. I'm not sure. I don't think so. Mia shrugged. No wonder she rejected the school hunk. It turned out she already had someone in her heart. What a pity. She met the wrong person. Remembering her sudden enthusiasm that night at the party, I almost misunderstood her intentions at that time. I felt a twinge of loneliness in my heart again. The three of us had a little more wine and didn't leave until we were full. A few days later, Mia went back to her hometown in the countryside for the summer vacation, and William also went on a trip. I wandered around the city alone, feeling bored. I made several trips between my own home, my aunt's home, and my grandmother's home every day. I almost wore out the doors. Finally, I managed to endure until the time for the early admission military training. Mia, William, and I all refused to let our parents accompany us. The three of us went to Cydia together. After settling down separately, we made an appointment to have dinner together the next day. Unexpectedly, Daphne also came. She had lost a lot of weight, and it seemed that she had been deeply hurt. I smiled politely at her, but she had a cold face and nodded perfunctorily. My heart trembled. Indeed, people who are heartbroken have mood swings. She's not someone to mess with. She didn't seem to have much of an appetite either. She didn't eat much and didn't talk much. The whole meal was a bit depressing. Everyone took her feelings into account and didn't dare to chat freely. Somehow, Mia and William started having a drinking contest again while we were controlling the atmosphere. As they drank, William got drunk again. Top student, that guy didn't know how to cherish you. There are plenty of people who will cherish you. If you want, bro will introduce someone to you. The guys I just met today are really handsome. Yeah, there are also a lot of handsome guys in our college. Come and take a look tomorrow. Mia chimed in. They were consoling Daphne one after another, which made me feel a bit awkward. It didn't seem right if I didn't console her either. So I had to follow suit. If you need it, I can introduce myself. She suddenly looked at me and sneered. You're going to introduce someone? Can it be reliable? Me? I was completely confused and didn't understand what she meant. Mia and William also looked puzzled. She gave a cold laugh. Then she tried to persuade William and Mia, drink less. Don't get drunk and cause trouble for others. I was really flustered. I always felt that she was teasing me. Could it be that she remembered what happened that night? The more I thought about it, the more flustered I became. I started to fidget. It was torturous, not knowing whether to ask or not. Who's causing trouble for whom? Mia retorted discontentedly. Daphne didn't say anything more. She got up to make a phone call and settled the bill by the way. I heard that the thing about her ex-boyfriend was related to getting drunk. You two don't think too much about it. Mia, half drunk, comforted us. So that's it. I let out a sigh of relief. After dinner, William and I first sent them back and then left. Before leaving, I thanked Daphne for treating us to dinner. She replied with 2 cold words, no need. She was so indifferent to me. I actually almost thought she liked me before. How ridiculous. A few days later, the rigorous military training started. Even though I usually have good physical strength, I still suffered a lot. William, who can't stand the sun, also got a shade darker. Mia was also complaining a lot on WeChat. The three of us made an appointment to have dinner together again. Considering that Daphne treated us last time, I wanted to treat her this time. So I sent her a WeChat message, but she refused. I felt a little disappointed. It was obvious that she didn't like me. Even the school hunk couldn't win her heart, let alone me. I suddenly became curious. What kind of person was the guy she liked? That scumbag could still make her fall so deeply in love. I couldn't describe how I felt. I should let go of this unrequited love. I tried to persuade myself in my heart. I started to avoid Daphne. I tried my best not to go to places where she was. I was afraid that if I saw her, my heart would start to flutter again, and I would only get more and more deeply involved. Later, I learned from Mia that Daphne had already moved on and was busy participating in various competitions. She didn't have time to think about those things anymore. And I didn't see her again throughout the rest of the semester. When we went home for the winter vacation, it was still Mia, William, and I who went together. Daphne didn't come with us. According to Mia, she was going to leave 2 days later. After the spring festival, there were still a few days of vacation left. I was bored at home. When I saw the flyer on the coffee table, my eyes lit up. I took a photo and casually posted a status on Moments. Couples dining at XX Hot Pot restaurant can enjoy a 50% discount. Is there anyone who wants to pair up with this poor single dog? The comments section exploded in just 2 minutes. William, you just love to take these small advantages. Isn't it more enjoyable to eat with me without a discount? Mia, how about we pair up? Friend 1, is a guy okay? Friend 2, stop fishing. There are no single girls left in this world. I'm tired of fishing. Me. After a while, Daphne unexpectedly sent me a WeChat message. Daphne, when? James? Daphne, didn't you want to eat hot pot? My heart, which had finally calmed down for half a year, started to beat violently again. Although I didn't know why she wanted to have hot pot with me, I was still very eager and couldn't bring myself to refuse. James, when are you free? Daphne, anytime. I looked at the time. It was already 8:30 p.m. James, how about tomorrow afternoon? Daphne, okay. I stared at the chat history and giggled excitedly. She didn't seem to hate me that much. Her indifference during that period might have been due to her unstable emotions after the breakup. I started to guess randomly again, and my mood improved. I hummed a song and prepared to wash up and go to bed. My cousin called and asked me to earn some extra money. I was a bit reluctant. She gritted her teeth and raised the price. The reward will be 1,000 yuan if it's done. She offered too much. I tidied myself up again and rushed there quickly. I easily earned 1,000 yuan. Thinking that I could have dinner with the goddess again tomorrow, I was overjoyed and almost burst out laughing. I secretly sighed in my heart that after being abandoned by God for so many years, he finally remembered me. I held my phone and slept until dawn. As soon as I woke up early in the morning, I started changing clothes and styling myself non-stop. Then I deleted and revised the message in Daphne's chat window. After thinking for a long time, I finally sent a simple message. Have you gotten up? However, I was so speechless. She blocked me. Yes, she blocked me for no apparent reason. I had so many question marks in my head. It was both annoying and ridiculous. I was as disappointed and angry as I had been nervous and expectant just now. I couldn't figure out why she was playing with me like this, even if I burned my brainstem. At the end, I suddenly felt a bit guilty. Could it be that she remembered that I had secretly kissed her before and was taking revenge on me? After enduring for a few days, I finally made it to the start of the semester. I mustered up the courage to run to the neighboring University A and asked Mia to call Daphne out for me. Even if it's the person I have a crush on, I can't swallow this humiliation of being played like this. If it's really because I secretly kissed her and she's deliberately taking revenge on me, then I'll admit it. It's indeed my fault, and at least I'll die knowing the reason. I'll also save myself from being on tenterhooks in the future. Mia ran to the gate of University A, out of breath. Come on, James. Why are you in such a hurry to find Daphne? As long as I can do it, I'll help you. You can't help with this. I have to talk to Daphne in person. I suppressed my anger. Then you're a bit late. She went abroad yesterday. She's going to be an exchange student at a certain Ivy League school and study there for a year. I was stunned. After a while, I came to my senses, and my anger subsided a lot. I felt an inexplicable sense of reluctance. I walked back as if I had lost my soul. Mia chattered all the way behind me. You look as lost as Daphne did a few days ago. Did you two eat some strange mushrooms? I ignored her. I was really annoyed. Say something. What on earth is so important that only Daphne can handle it and I can't? Nothing. You just said she was like a lost soul? I suddenly became curious. Yeah. It is said that she planned to get back together with her ex-boyfriend, but the ex-boyfriend got back together with his ex-girlfriend one step ahead of her. Damn it! I got even angrier. I became the punching bag for her broken heart again. Once is okay, but she keeps bullying me like this. The more I thought about it, the angrier I got. I kicked the curb by the roadside furiously. Mia was on the phone and laughed at me. With this posture, people who don't know might think you and Daphne had a fight in your relationship. I immediately got angry and shouted, I'd rather be with a dog than with her. What a goddess! Go away. I don't love her anymore. Hey, Daphne, don't hang up. Mia held the phone that had been hung up, looking helpless. So she was calling Daphne just now? I was stunned. She tapped my head. Didn't you want to find her? You were so angry. I thought you might really have something urgent, so I called her. But as soon as she picked up the phone, you shouted and made her hang up. I took a deep breath. Forget it, forget it. I couldn't chase after her to a foreign country to confront her either. I secretly kissed her, and she played tricks on me. We're even now. I told myself in my heart to stay away from her in the future. Mia followed me all the way to the school gate. I waved to her, go back. I'm going in. Are you really okay? She still seemed a bit worried. It's okay. Go. It took me several days to gradually get over my depression and my mood returned to normal. I signed up for the English competition and started to get busy. I memorized words and practiced oral English every day, and I just casually dealt with my meals. One day, William suddenly cut off his curly hair that looked like a chicken coop and came to me awkwardly. James, do I still look like a girl like this? I closed the book in my hand and looked at him in surprise. He used to wear sweatpants, t-shirts, and had a head of curly hair. He was fair-skinned and really looked a bit like a girl. I had been too busy recently to pay much attention to him. This guy cut his curly hair and put on trousers and a shirt. He really looked like a gentleman. It was obvious that he was in love. You look really handsome, for real. But why did you suddenly change your style? Who has such great charm? Tell me the truth. I crossed my arms and smiled evilly. He stammered, it's just that Mia always calls me sister. It's really annoying. I immediately guessed what was on his mind. You like Mia, right? His eyes dodged. Don't tell her yet. You're shy. Ha ha ha. Don't laugh at me. But James, tell me the truth. Have you ever had a crush on someone? Share your experience of having a crush. I choked on a sip of water and was instantly stunned. I didn't dare to say that I had a crush on Daphne. I was afraid they would laugh at me for wanting something beyond my reach. From your expression, you've had a crush on someone, right? He continued to ask. I nodded. Did you confess your love? I shook my head. I know my own limitations, so I didn't dare. What do you mean by knowing your own limitations? I just don't understand you. You're good-looking, from a good family, and also good at studying. Why are you always so self-deprecating? He looked puzzled. It might be related to that experience in my childhood. When I was about 6 or 7 years old, both of my parents were transferred to work at a grassroots level far from home. My grandmother's family hadn't returned to China at that time, and my aunt was busy with her business. She didn't even have time to take care of her own 2 children. Helplessly, my parents sent me to live with my grandparents. My grandmother was my step-grandmother, and my uncle was her biological son. They had my cousin, their own grandson, so they didn't treat me well. They accepted me because my parents paid a high amount of food expenses every month. During the more than half a year I lived in their house, I was constantly laughed at, insulted and denied. My cousin even incited the children of other relatives to bully me and isolate me together. I was often beaten up by a group of them alone. The adults in the family didn't stop it. My grandfather even said confidently that it was normal for children to fight and that getting a few beatings wouldn't make me lose a piece of flesh. In their home, I suffered unfair treatment every day, and I became less talkative. Why didn't I tell my parents? Because my step-grandmother intimidated me. She said that if my mother didn't feel at ease with me living in her house, she would definitely quit her job and take care of me herself. With only my father working, he couldn't support the whole family. Then I would have no food to eat, no house to live in, and no school to go to. Our whole family would become beggars. I was still young at that time and was scared by her. I was afraid of ending up on the streets, so I never dared to complain a word of grievance to my parents. Later, it was my mother who noticed my abnormality and guided me to tell the truth. My father got really angry that day and completely broke off with my grandfather. My aunt was so angry that she went to their house and smashed things up. Later, my mother quit her stable job and stayed at home to take care of me full-time. Under my mother's careful care, the wounds in my heart gradually healed. But I still inevitably lacked confidence. After hearing my story, William patted my shoulder gently to comfort me. Then he looked curious again. So who is the person you had a crush on? I was stunned by his question again. I paused for a moment and fobbed him off, I'll tell you later. He let out an oh sound, half believing, and didn't bring it up again. One weekend, I received an anonymous package. There were many different types of English books in it, as well as the real questions and reference materials of previous English competitions. There was a message on an A4 paper on the cover of the materials. The other person asked me to add her WeChat. She said that she had passed TEM 8 and could practice oral English with me for free. I added her without hesitation. Firstly, I wanted to know who the other person was, and secondly, I really needed a tutor. Since it was free, I might as well take it. But no matter how I asked, the other person wouldn't tell me who she was and just told me to focus on my studies. After being refused many times, I became numb. After getting used to it, I didn't bother to tangle about it anymore. We connected the audio and started the class at 8 o'clock every night on time. Of course, the other person muted the microphone. First, we practiced oral English for half an hour. I read and the other person listened. After that, we started writing. I wrote and she reviewed it. She was a very serious person. She could accurately point out even my slightest mistakes. For the parts where my oral English was wrong, she would carefully make a short video for me and let me practice it repeatedly. Then she thoughtfully worked out a simpler study plan for me. It was not in vain for her patient tutoring, nor for my diligent study and practice. In the end, I won the first prize in Category C. To show my sincerity, I wanted to invite her out to thank her in person, but I was refused. The other person said that this WeChat account was a secondary account and she seldom logged in. If I needed any help, I could leave a message for her. Although I was sorry that I didn't get to meet my benefactor, since the other person said it was inconvenient, I didn't want to bother too much and had to respect her wishes. Mia and William clamored for me to treat them. I was in a great mood and took them to have hot pot. After learning that I could win the prize only with the silent tutoring of a free and excellent teacher, they both looked envious and puzzled. William rested his chin in his hand and thought for a while, then said, "Could it be Daphne? Her mother studied in the UK before, and she learned from her mother. I've heard her speak English. She has a very pure British accent." I was stunned for a moment and searched for clues in my mind. How could it be? They don't know what feud they have. They almost want to strangle each other. Mia's words pulled me back to reality. Mia was right. How could it be Daphne? Moreover, the package I received was a local express delivery, and she was abroad. I couldn't figure out who it was even if I racked my brains. Since the other person didn't want me to bother, I simply stopped thinking about it. William and Mia didn't make any progress either. They were still just friends. I had several suitors, and they were all quite good in all aspects. But I didn't have that feeling of being attracted, so I rejected them all. It was the winter vacation again. The monitor of our high school organized a class reunion. William and I had nothing to do, so we went to it. Everyone had changed a lot. We had shed our childishness and become much more mature. Our capacity for alcohol had also increased a lot. The classmates who could drink were having a drinking contest with each other. They were telling interesting stories about their lives after entering university. Strangely, William didn't come. Didn't Mia say she was going to attend yesterday? I asked William. Yes, she's waiting for Daphne. My heart trembled violently, and I felt an inexplicable sense of anticipation. Look, there they are. William raised his chin and pointed to the gate. Then he shouted loudly, "Daphne and Mia are here." Everyone stood up and warmly welcomed them. Through the crowd, I met Daphne's gaze. She had become even more beautiful and exuded a bit more of a composed aura. My heart seemed to skip a beat, and then it started pounding like a drum. Although I wanted to deny it, I had to admit that my feelings for her only grew stronger. Everyone exchanged a few pleasantries and then pulled Daphne and Mia to sit down. A group of people started to propose toasts again. After a few rounds of drinking, they began to play the most boring drinking table game ever, Truth or Dare. I was so unlucky that I was the one chosen in the first round. How many times have you been in a relationship? The person who spun the bottle grinned mischievously. Never been in a relationship. I confessed honestly. Before anyone could react, Daphne let out a snort of laughter. Everyone looked at her in confusion, and I was also completely at a loss. I remembered a cold joke and couldn't hold it in. "You guys go on." After she finished speaking, she gave me a mocking smile. I was a bit bewildered. After a long round, finally a male classmate spun the bottle and it pointed at Daphne. The male classmate smiled strangely. "Top student, can I ask 3 questions?" The others also chimed in, "Make an exception." She had a faint smile on her face. "Sure." The male classmate rubbed his hands together and smiled even more wickedly. "Then I won't be polite. The first question, when was your first love?" I instinctively looked at her and met her gaze. She looked at me for a while and then said, "In high school." There was an expression of disbelief on everyone's faces. "With whom?" "I know many people chased you. I didn't expect you to have been in a relationship. He must be very excellent to make you fall in love early." "No, he was a scumbag. He cheated on me less than 24 hours after we started dating," Daphne unexpectedly replied. After that, she gave me a resentful look again. I was stunned. I always felt that she was targeting me. But it couldn't possibly be me. I had never even been in a relationship, let alone cheated on her. However, I admired that guy who cheated on her within 24 hours. He stepped on the hearts of many boys. The classmates all opened their mouths wide and began to stand up for her. "That guy is blind. You deserve better." She smiled but didn't respond. "The second question, are you single now?" "Yes." The eyes of the male classmates at the table instantly lit up, and their mouths almost stretched to the back of their ears. "The last question, when was your first kiss?" "High school." I let out a sigh of relief. "On the night of the high school graduation party," she added slowly, enunciating each word clearly. My hand holding the cup trembled. I stared at her in shock, and she met my gaze with a half-smile, looking playful. I was completely stunned. She remembered everything. Remembering my impolite actions and cheesy love words, I wished I could bury myself under the table. In this way, the reasons for all her grievances towards me before were clear. During that time, she was secretly kissed by me and then heartlessly abandoned by her ex-boyfriend. How depressed she must have been. I suddenly felt a bit sorry for her and had more self-blame in my heart. The classmates also began to try hard to recall the scene of that night. It seemed that everyone had drunk too much and had no memory of it. Next, it was Daphne's turn to spin the bottle, and she seemed to do it on purpose. With a gentle move of her hand, the bottle pointed at me. I hadn't yet recovered from the embarrassment and self-blame. She said softly, "The question is the same as above. When was your first kiss?" I was immediately taken aback. She was obviously doing it on purpose. I had just said that I had never been in a relationship, and now she was asking me about my first kiss. I was silent for a moment and finally chose to drink. Daphne's face clearly darkened. After drinking 3 cups in a row, I couldn't take it anymore and ran to the restroom. I washed my face and came out. I saw Daphne standing by the wall in the corridor. She must have been a bit drunk. There was a faint blush on her face, like a delicate and charming flower, making her pitiful. Even though I was extremely nervous at the moment because the fact that I secretly kissed her had been discovered, it didn't stop me from being addicted to her beauty. I mustered up the courage and planned to apologize to her. However, I was too nervous. I tripped over the step and almost fell. I instinctively grabbed her hand. She smiled and then supported me. "What are you up to again?" She wasn't angry and still had a smile on her face. I tripped. I stammered nervously. "You're not drunk this time, are you?" She still smiled. My heart was pounding. I took a deep breath. "Daphne, I want to apologize to you for what happened before. I'm sorry. Please forgive me." She looked at me for a while and suddenly became serious. "Which thing?" "It was my fault for secretly kissing you. I'm sorry." I said it with difficulty, because it was really something I had done that wasn't right. She looked at me for a while, then gave a bitter smile. "It's all in the past." She seemed very downcast and left with a sigh. I was stunned for a long time. She had clearly forgiven me, but I felt inexplicably sad in my heart. A few days before the spring festival, William planned to confess his love to Mia. He asked me to invite Mia out. To set off the atmosphere, I asked Mia to dress up nicely. After simply decorating the private room with William, I was about to leave. Mia walked over holding a bouquet of flowers. Her face was bright red, and she looked very shy. I exchanged a look with William and smiled. just as I was about to sigh that they had a telepathic connection. However, Mia walked up to me holding the flowers. James, I like you. Confessions should be made by you boys, but I also want to be brave once. Be my boyfriend. William and I were both stunned. William's face was bright red, full of regret and annoyance. He tore down the decorated scene and fled in a hurry. Mia then realized what was going on. She was stunned for a moment and then looked at me, as if waiting for an answer. I rejected Mia, told her that I already had someone in my heart, and repeated William's feelings for her to her. Before I could wait for her reaction, I chased after William. I caught up with William, and he gave a bitter smile. I've embarrassed myself so much. Buddy, I really didn't know she liked you. If I had known. I'm sorry. It's my fault for being so persistent and insisting on doing this. I was also very embarrassed and felt guilty. What are you apologizing for? I don't like her. And I'm really sorry too. I didn't expect things to turn out like this. Actually, if you really like her, it doesn't matter. Don't worry about me. Seriously, buddy, I'm not that petty. We can still be friends as we were before. He stroked his chin and regained his usual tough guy look. I was speechless at him. I really only see Mia as a friend. He didn't believe me at all. You really don't need to worry about me. Really? The person you said you had a crush on before, is it Mia? I let out a sigh and said firmly, I really don't like Mia. The person I like is Daphne. He suddenly burst out laughing. Back then, 8 out of 10 people in number 1 middle school liked Daphne. Find someone else as an excuse. I was so angry that he wouldn't listen to reason that I shouted directly, I'm serious. I really like her. I've liked her since high school. That's why I didn't dare to confess, because it was her. He was stunned by my shout. He paused for a moment, then looked behind me and started giggling. I felt confused and turned around following his gaze. Wow! Daphne was standing 3 meters behind me. I was stunned in place, not knowing what to do for a moment. Daphne slowly walked up to me and looked up at me. The corners of my mouth twitched, and I hadn't organized my words yet. I looked at William and asked him for help. He shook his head and ran away. Daphne kept staring at me. Seeing that I had no intention of speaking, she let out a sigh. I give in, James. Whether you were just having fun with me after drinking or using me as a shield, I accept it all. I've been avoiding you for so long, but the moment I saw you, I broke down. I feel so useless. But I can't do anything about it. She had a look of helplessness on her face. I was both surprised and delighted. I wanted to confirm again, what do you mean? She became serious. I like you, James. This moment had appeared in my dreams many times. Every time I dreamed that Daphne confessed her love to me, I woke up with a smile. I always thought that liking her was just my own business. I never expected this love to be reciprocated. I was so excited that I was at a loss, and I even couldn't believe it. You and your ex have broken up and gotten back together 2 or 3 times. You've also played tricks on me many times. It's time to give me a chance, James. Her words pulled my wandering thoughts back. I didn't understand. What? She glanced at me, let out another sigh, and then gave a bitter smile. 2 years ago, you said you wanted to be my boyfriend, and I agreed. But the next day, you cheated on me in the bar. Less than 10 days after that in the bar, you started dating someone else. Last year, you clearly said you were single. I wanted to take the opportunity of having hot pot with you to confess my love to you again. But before the next day came, you got back together with your ex-girlfriend. Others have had several chances. You can't be so unfair. This time, you should give me a chance. James, take a good look at me. Be my boyfriend. She said a lot with a wronged expression on her face. I was shocked. So the scumbag who cheated on her less than 24 hours after they got together was me? The scumbag who made her lose her appetite was me? My first love was me? So she agreed to my confession that night? I stared at her in a daze, unable to speak for a long time. Her face darkened. You don't agree? I was still in shock and didn't react for a moment. Then she seemed to think of something, and her expression was like she had eaten something disgusting, as if she was making a difficult decision. She cleared her throat and then barked twice. I was confused. What was this operation? She was a bit shy and looked wronged. Didn't you say you'd rather be with a dog than with me? I remembered the time when Mia called her. I didn't expect she would remember it and do it. I couldn't help laughing. She got anxious. You still don't agree? I directly held her head and kissed her lips. She froze for a moment and then responded to me passionately. After the kiss lasted for a while, I let go of her. The smile on my lips couldn't be wiped away. She hugged me, stared at me for a while, and then kissed me again, both domineering and gentle. I felt like I was in a dream. We held hands and strolled along the street, telling each other about the torment of our secret love for each other in the past 2 years. Finally, we talked about the mysterious teacher who tutored me in English. She didn't seem curious at all and didn't even bother to ask. I thought of something and then probed, "Could it be you?" She smiled slightly and nestled into my arms. Yeah. I was shocked again, and a sour feeling spread from the bottom of my heart to my eyes. I remembered that many times, I asked her questions outside of the fixed time, and she always replied in an instant. Now, comparing the time, it might be 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning on her side. "You must have been very tired during that time, right?" I felt a bit self-blaming. It was much better than the torment of loving you but not being able to be with you. At least I could see your messages. She tightened her hands around my waist. After a while, we arrived downstairs at my house. Unexpectedly, we met my cousin. She was leaning against the car door. Daphne saw her too, and her face darkened immediately. "James, this time it's been less than 2 hours. If you dare to cheat on me again, just try it." Her tone was full of warning. I was amused by her and deliberately ignored her. I directly shouted at my cousin, "What are you doing?" My cousin saw me and walked over, picking up my mom. Then my cousin noticed Daphne and looked curious. "Your mom is at my house?" I asked. "Yeah." Daphne's face became even darker. I cleared my throat. "Don't look for me in the future. I can't do that job anymore." My cousin looked incredulous because I was always a money lover. "Why?" I pointed at Daphne. "Your sister-in-law won't allow it." "Sister-in-law? Sister-in-law?" Daphne and my cousin said it at the same time. I smiled and nodded, introducing them to each other. My cousin gave me a thumbs up and called Daphne sister-in-law with a smile. Daphne nodded awkwardly in agreement. Then she pulled me aside and gritted her teeth. "So I mistook my sister-in-law for a love rival and wasted 2 years of my time?" I couldn't help laughing. "Yeah, and the other one is my cousin. I can't help it. They paid too much." Daphne's face became even darker. "Fine, James. Sooner or later, you'll pay for this." I could only laugh dryly. Before going to bed, William called. "Did you kiss?" "I kissed her as early as 2 years ago." I laughed heartily. "What?" I confessed everything to him. After hearing it, he first let out a scream, and then howled like a ghost. "Damn it, can't you two hold back a bit? You had to get together on the day I'm heartbroken." I was innocent. "Is it my fault?" He sighed. "It's my fault. You two have to treat me to a big meal. Without my help, you two might have endured until you were old and still not confessed to each other." "Okay, definitely. You're our great matchmaker. I'll tell Daphne later." "Get lost. I don't want to eat. You two should just stay together forever." He roared angrily. "Are you okay?" I asked worriedly. "I'm great. I'm enjoying my freedom." "Okay, I'm going to sleep. Bye." He hung up the phone. He was usually very carefree, and it was hard to tell if he was sad. I guessed he might be. After all, he really liked Mia for many years. After returning to school after the spring festival, Daphne and I treated Mia and William to dinner. I casually glanced at Mia at the dinner table. She gave me a dirty look and said unhappily, "It's too late to regret. I won't go back on my word, humph." Her free and easy attitude made me laugh. Daphne retorted angrily, "You wish." Mia snorted and turned her head, then noticed William. He had dressed up specially today. He was wearing a clean and refreshing shirt and trousers, and he really looked like a gentleman. William also noticed Mia's gaze and was very proud. "I won't go back on my word either. Leave me alone." After that, the 4 of us burst into laughter. Everyone returned to their usual playful relationship. When I'm in a relationship with Daphne, even the wind is sweet. She takes great care of me. In Mia's words, I've become a giant baby. She knows my taste very well and arranges my breakfast, lunch, and dinner. All I need to do is go to the school gate after class and hold her hand. She decides what to eat and carefully matches the nutrition. It's the complete opposite of the junk food I used to eat. William looked at her picking the fish bones for me and was speechless. Damn, he used to eat instant noodles dry. When has he ever been so delicate? That's because you didn't take good care of him. With me around, it won't happen again in the future. Daphne fiddled with the fish unhurriedly. William was choked and rolled his eyes. I laughed heartily beside them. William gritted his teeth in anger. If I have dinner with you two again tomorrow, I'm a dog. Later, he really seldom had dinner with just the two of us. Daphne rented an apartment outside the school. I would go there to have a meal on weekends. She cooks very well. Usually, I order the dishes and she makes them. The braised prawns she makes are even better than the ones my mom makes. She patiently peeled a full plate of prawns for me. I licked my fingers clean and made her very happy. After the meal, I insisted on washing the dishes, but she wouldn't let me. Let me wash them. I've eaten so much and need to move around. I carried her aside. She was too lazy to resist and looked at me with a smile. You want to move around? Why don't you save some energy? I was washing the dishes and glanced at her. From her mischievous smile, I instantly understood what she meant. My face turned red from her flirting, and my hand washing the dishes also trembled a bit. She chuckled, let me wash them. Then she reached out her hands from behind me. Her hot body pressed against my back, and her hands groped back and forth on my abdomen through my clothes. I couldn't go on washing the dishes. I turned around and directly kissed her lips. The two of us kissed from the kitchen to the bedroom. The two burning flames were swallowed up in the night. Daphne was recommended for postgraduate study at her own university in her junior year. With Daphne's tutoring, I also got admitted as a postgraduate at University A. After graduating from postgraduate school, we both went to our favorite relevant majors. After working for a year, we got married. The staff who handled the marriage certificate couldn't help being surprised. Daphne, James, you two are destined by heaven. We looked at each other and smiled, our eyes filled with each other. Although we missed each other for 2 years because of the misunderstanding, in the end, it was still you. Finally, I advise everyone to remember to speak up. I discovered my secret love for James a long time ago. I didn't dare to confirm it until my senior year of high school. I kept observing him, planning to confess my love as soon as I found any signs that he liked me a bit. However, I was only disappointed. It seemed that he didn't even notice me, let alone like me. On the night of the high school graduation party, I was thinking about whether to confess. It didn't matter if he didn't accept it. However, I heard from William that he wouldn't come that night. I was disappointed and drank a lot of wine. When the school hunk confessed his love, James came. My disappointment came along too because he also joined in to match me with the school hunk. I didn't give up and sat next to him to get closer. I noticed his uneasiness and felt that he might like me a bit. I was about to confess, but was interrupted by the class monitor. Later, I was forced to drink a lot more wine. My limbs went numb, and I hid in the next private room. After a while, James came in. He confessed his love to me and kissed me. I agreed to his confession and tried my best to hug him, but he ran away. Finally, I was too tired and fell into a deep sleep. I'm the kind of person who gets drunk physically but not mentally when drinking. I just lost my strength, but my mind was very clear. The next day, I was woken up by a phone call. My best friend asked me to go to the bar to pick her up. When I got to the bar, I saw James arm in arm with someone else in the next booth, announcing their relationship. I was in a slump for a long time. Soon, something even more shocking happened. In just over 10 days, he broke up with the previous one and announced another relationship. I was completely disappointed and directly hid in City A. One day, when I was scrolling through Moments, I saw that James claimed to be a single dog. My mood became inexplicably cheerful. I tried to get closer to him under the pretext of having hot pot. We clearly made an appointment to have hot pot the next day. But that night, when I went to pick up my cousin with my elder female cousin, I unexpectedly ran into him getting back together with his ex-girlfriend's ex. I was completely disheartened and directly deleted his WeChat contact. I also agreed to the teacher's arrangement to go abroad. Even when I was abroad, things weren't peaceful. A phone call from Mia made me realize how much James disliked me. He even said that he would rather be with a dog than be in a relationship with me. I was sad for a long time and decided to ignore him. Not long after, I learned that he was going to participate in an English competition, and my heart softened again. I asked my elder female cousin to organize the materials and send them to him for me. I was very tired during that period. I slept for less than 4 hours every day, fearing that he might need me suddenly. I admit that I was a love-struck fool who was overly infatuated. On the day when William confessed his love to Mia, I knew that Mia was going to confess her love to James. Feeling uneasy, I followed them. But I unexpectedly learned that James liked me, and he had been liking me since high school. This time, regardless of whether it was true or not, I just wanted to seize the opportunity. Finally, I found out that both his ex-girlfriend and ex-girlfriend's ex were actually actors hired by his elder female cousin and his cousin. I gritted my teeth in hatred and felt sorry for the 2 years we had lost. Fortunately, we finally held on to each other in the end. Now I'm his wife.